Hi, this is Melvin Way, and I'm in the middle of the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park in the middle of the mountains in the middle of nowhere. It's June 2013, and this is sort of the dry landscape. You can see it's true desert, it's high desert, and if I'm shaking a little, it's because the wind is very strong here, so I kind of lost my footing on this rough, rocky terrain. Before I go on any further, I wanted to give a shout out to Kenneth Combs' channel. His channel is that of an avid bushcrafters. It has a lot of very high production value videos that have very good audio quality as well. So if you're interested, you should definitely check out his channel. Here we have some of these barrel cacti, one right in front of us at my feet here. And it's called the California barrel cactus, the fire barrel, the miner's compass, and it's got many other names, but I'll explain some of those other names later on. But for now, just try to think of it as the California barrel cactus if you want. The scientific name is Ferocactus cylindraceus, and this is also known as the desert barrel cactus, as if it doesn't have enough names. But this cactus is native to the eastern Mojave Desert and western Sonoran Desert. It's in California, Nevada, Arizona, and Utah, Baja California, and Sonora State in northwestern Mexico. So that's the range. It's found in gravelly, rocky, or sandy soils and creosote bush scrub and Joshua tree woodland habitats from 60 to 1,500 meters. Here you can see a barrel cacti that's almost camouflaged with the red rocks. It's very inconspicuous until it gets much larger, but it can form a barrel cactus that reaches up to 3 meters in height. This is footage from the Visitor Center in Borrego Springs. This is where I got positive visual ID of what these cacti are, and if you look to the right here of the staircase, you can see two more. So going back to the desert is what we're looking at right now, juvenile or baby barrel cacti. So the California barrel cactus starts out like this. It's very small. It sort of looks like a sea urchin, and it's basically a sheath of a phalanx of red spines that can vary in color. I've heard they can also be like sort of yellow or brown or tan, but this is the most common phenotype we see here. And barrel cacti are very dangerous because if you get pricked, then you'll get a skin-breaking infected wound that could turn septic. So it could be life-threatening if it's a really bad stab, or you just fall onto this or face plant. So don't do something like that. Definitely, if you're not well balanced, you should reconsider coming here. So it says on Wikipedia that this plant is threatened by plant collectors, and I think in all states it's basically illegal to run out into the wild and harvest these, but you wouldn't know it from looking at this hillside. I mean, it's just covered in these baby barrel cacti, and they're called fire barrels because they're all red in appearance for very obvious reasons. But they're also called miner's compasses, or desert compasses, because they tend to lean south as they age. So that's a very valuable piece of information you can use to your advantage and exploit if you're ever lost out in the American southwestern deserts. Here's a close-up of the wilted flowers of this cactus. The flowering season is from April to May, and we missed it because it's already June. So the spines are very interesting, but it's also interesting to see all the other stuff that's kind of trapped underneath, like dead flowers and the photosynthesizing surfaces of the succulent itself. So this is a more mature specimen. It's very round and beautiful. These three are much larger than the other ones that we've been seeing, and this one is kind of not that good looking at the bottom, but pretty on the top. So here you can see the cactus fruits, and they're attached to these withered flowers. This is about as good of a meal as you're ever going to get in the Anza-Borrego Desert, and it's clear that some animal, whether it be a rat, coyote, or rabbit, has taken advantage of this and chewed open these fruit husks and eaten the flesh inside. So all you have left are the withered flowers attached, fruit husks with seeds inside. They're little and black, and the reason plant collectors don't rush to get these seeds is because, even if you have seeds, so what? It still take like 100 years to grow a cacti like 3 meters tall if you give it all the water and proper nutrition and conditions that it required. And even if you had a plant nursery, that doesn't do you any good either, because you got to start growing these things, and it'll take decades before they reach the size at which plant collectors want to buy them for their landscaping projects. This one just looks like a red sea urchin slapped onto a slab of solid rock, and the color contrast is very amusing because it's a bright fiery red, a fire barrel on top of a bunch of gray rocks that have a slight tinge of red. So the rest of the high desert is quite pale and bland in comparison. So you can see a bunch of fruit husks on the ground and the barrel cactus they came from. So obviously this animal has to be tall enough and dexterous enough to reach these fruits without getting stabbed. So there's also the possibility that it could have been a bird. The California barrel cactus lacks glaucids and can tolerate frost temperatures down to -6.6 Celsius.